Hello, Bobbles. Hey, Bobbles. Whoa. Is that your baby? Is that one of your babies? That's Elle. That's Elle. That's Dakota's cat. So, yeah. Bobbles, is that another one of your babies? Bubbles, you have so many babies. This one's so much cuter. Alright, another little peek. Another little peek at Elle. She was a stray kitty. So when he was off at university, he found this one. And yeah. Look at her. She's got some interesting colors, doesn't she? Impressive. Is he gonna pick it up? He might pick the whole thing up. Yep, there we go. Good job, bud. Good job. Good job. So yeah, when those balls become unsafe, you know, for the big cats, they just get too many holes poked into them and they crack, and the cats can't. Whoa. Whoa. That was a very dramatic flop. Oh. It's like old timey. Like that's like the silver screen, you know, harkens back to vaudeville kind of level of over the topedness. But yeah, when tigers or the big, you know, leopards, cougars, well, we don't got any leopards anymore, but they would have those balls for years, and then they break them down, and then you just like you toss them to the dogs or something like that, maybe. Or like what I think for some of them, this is actually what I think, like we would take a ball out of the enclosure and then we would like maybe put it in the barn or something like that. And then Bubbles, just through the course of just like following us down to do some work or following Heidi down, he would just be like, what is this? Oh my gosh. And he would start. So like, I guess that's his ball now. It's so big. Yeah, it's a big ball. Are there others like this? How come no one ever told me about this? And it's fine for him because his jaws can only produce so much. I mean, his jaw, like you have to, like German Shepherds, they have incredibly strong jaws. I mean, like stupidly strong jaws. They really do, but not like tigers. Not like a tiger's. It's always fun, like some of the, I've talked about this before, so I'm not going to harp on it, but it, you know, whenever you, like some of the people who are like they overestimate the capability of like their very expensive, like, you know, like I breed Russian devil hounds. Very expensive. Russian devil hounds. Rare. They're extremely rare, very expensive. They were bred to cage fight, to bare knuckle cage fight with the glass and the glue on their knuckles, Jean-Claude Van Damme style. They were bred specifically to fight ligers and chimpanzees, cage match. glue and glass. That's what those dogs were bred for. Hi. Hi. My next, I'm going to be getting some Uzbekian Satan Mastiffs. I can't even tell you how powerful they are. Basically, they're stronger than any of your tigers. Because like for the most part, most people get that. But then you can't. You have to understand. Like sometimes when you're dealing with like someone will say something online, a comment, and then it's either going to be just like there's like a negative confirmation bias, and just you get one kook. And you remember that person. And literally, I may have gotten like 2 people. And I'm talking like throughout everything. Throughout like the whole, like the up and down, the rise and fall of Vine, all through Instagram, all through YouTube, like out of like every single social media platform that I've been bouncing around on. I maybe, not 2 comments, but maybe 2 people. 2 out of all of that. Who have said just some weird stuff about dogs and how amazing their dogs are and how they could probably fight the tigers here. And then I see that and I'm just like, okay, bud. So I don't want you to think like, man, those people. No, it's like, it's not a statistically significant sample. That is lipstick. Put that away. I don't need your Mary Kay products. But it's kind of like a lot of times like journalists they'll find someone will announce a thing somewhere, a company, a media company, whatever. Someone will announce a thing. And then 3 people will go on Twitter and be like, I don't like thing. And then some journalist will find those 3 tweets. And then they'll be like, people are outraged. And look at these 3 examples. Outrage. And that's how that works. And you remember, it's weird. Like I remember like just like feuds and fights. I'll remember someone being mean years ago over someone being like, hey, this really helped me through some like really tough times. Thank you so much for all of like the fun content and a lot of the laughs. I remember those things too. I'm not trying to sit there and say like, I just sketched that from my brain. I don't remember any of your nice words. I just want you to know. Hi, Amelita. Hi. I remember all of your nice words as well, because you only ever have nice words to say, right? Only ever nice things. I'm not going to push my luck. But there is something, and hello all you big cat lovers out there. It's me, Derek, again. Welcome to another super duper fantastic episode of the Walk Around the Compound webcast. Hi. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Do you miss Cassie? Well, so do fucking I. You're welcome. Hey, you. The dust. That's like cartoon stuff right there. Yeah, you're a good boy. But negative confirmation bias is a thing, and this is as I understand it. Now, like something you have to also realize, like I'll talk confidently about a thing doesn't mean that I know exactly what I'm talking about. Doesn't mean that I'm an expert on the thing. So just because I'll talk confidently, as if I know what a thing is, doesn't make the thing valid or true. You have to realize that. Man, poor Heidi. She has to have like follow-up conversations with a lot of interns. Where like, they'll be doing a thing or they'll be saying something and Heidi's like, who told you that? I'm like, well, Derek. And she's like, oh, okay. Well, he sounded so convincing. Yes, that's what he does. But what's going on over here? So that whole concept of like negative confirmation bias, I've read and I've heard that it's like it's an evolved trait. It's like it's a genetically advantageous trait to have, because modern human, as we know, the last kind of like nature iteration that we really kind of like were formed in. I mean, we're always being formed, so I shouldn't say that we're not currently. We're midway in that slow process. But like the last time that we could really confidently point and say like, oh, we have such and such and such trait that we still carry today, that was really developed during hunter-gatherer times, tribal times. And those times lasted for a long time, relatively speaking. You know, like different iterations of human existed, like nomadic, like hunter-gatherer, subsistence lifestyles, tribal lifestyles. I mean, cripes, for hundreds of thousands of years. And I'm counting stuff prior to, you know, just modern Homo sapiens. That goes back to, there's, you know, the other ones with the big eyebrows and the big foreheads. But you know, those hunter-gatherer societies, a lot of times they were going to be anywhere between like, I mean, a few dozen to maybe like 100 or so, a little over. Like that's kind of like the fluctuation for population density. That usually was your community. It was going to be somewhere, you know, 25, 30 to maybe like 100 and 100 plus. So that's where a lot of like our evolution actually came. So like we're good in groups that go up, that fit within those ranges. That's why a lot of like companies can be a certain size, but then like when companies get to be too big, they'll actually start to break apart into like sub-departments, and that's why sub-departments may only like be that size. You know, like school faculties may only be like a certain, like it's weird things where once you get past a certain size, it's hard to keep track of everyone, because we still think along those kind of unga bunga kind of tribal lines. And your life depended on your ability to integrate with the tribe, to socialize, to adapt, to be a social member, a contributing, hey, that's a, like, I can trust that guy. I know that guy's got my back. Hi, sugar pie. I can share resources. I can go hunting with that person. You know, they got my back. Therefore, I'm gonna have theirs. Like, so much of your life, your ability to survive, depended, like really, really depended on your ability to be sociable, and it really depended on your ability and like people's perception of you. This goes back, again, that tribal kind of thing. Are you like a reliable part of the tribe? Are you a contributor? Do we have to worry about, like, are you going to steal valuable resources? Because there's not a lot of resources to go around. Remember, we're hunter-gatherers. This is before even farming is invented. What's that? Did you just make up a word? Hi. So, if you were like if you were like Cave Dave, and you were like a bit of a creep, and like the rest of the tribe got together and was like, Cave Dave, you're weirding people out. You gotta go. Like, that could be like a literal death sentence. You might, like, so like you became like really hyper aware of feedback. And like our cognition, our ability to view and evaluate feedback that we got from our communities. We place more emphasis on the negative information we would get as opposed to the positive. Because the negative had a lot more to do with whether or not we got to stay in the community, whether or not we got to keep our positions within the tribe. And maybe there were instances where someone was not acting in accordance with like the rest of the tribe's values, and they were like, hey, you're kind of acting, you know what, that's not kind of cool. That gives you that ability to like, oh, let me go ahead and change my ways. Let me change my ways. So we are more, like, we evolved. So we evolved like the natural tendency to actually pay more attention and place more emphasis. Whoa. But to pay more attention and place more emphasis on negative feedback. That's why. That's why Zuby is the Prince of the Leaves. It all makes sense. Prince of the Leaves. He's Prince of the Leaves. He's Zuby, Prince of the Leaves. I love that. What a magical time. Whoa, I almost walked into like an Indiana Jones trap. Like, there's like a decorative like plate, and you're like, huh, and then just, you're like, huh. Na, 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 na. That last Indiana Jones was kind of a turd. There was good stuff with it. There was good things about it, but there was a lot of things that I was just like, blech. Hey, it's okay, bud. It's okay. Negative confirmation bias. Yeah, it was unfortunate. Kind of did like almost like got the Luke Skywalker treatment, where it's like, we're gonna take this beloved character, but then, you know, like, we're gonna just turn him into like a, you know, kind of a dirty old curmudgeon. That no one, you know, that like a down and out dirt. Like, we're gonna take someone who was like super like awesome and like hyper capable in their youth, but then just make them just kind of just like a turd that some younger person has to be like, come on, and they're like, yeah. I'm like, come on, we don't need that. Like, if they so, and then like some of the new people, like the new characters, where it's like, of course they're gonna have like there's a kid, and then they'll have like you know, like the plucky heroine, the heroine. The kid was fine, he was okay, but the lady, I I was watching the movie and I was basically sitting there thinking like, she might have like borderline personality disorder. She might be like knocking on the door of like legit sociopathy. Like, I really, this lady kind of gives me the heebie-jeebies. Like, she is not, I'm not, because there's other times where it's like, oh, you scallywag, but I'm still gonna root for you. Like, I think they were trying to go for that sort of thing. Oh, that rascal. But you know what? You have so many other redeeming qualities, and I just can't help but to root for you. And then, like, this lady was just... He's like, let's throw railroad spikes off of highway overpasses. And I'm like, no, that's antisocial behavior. Like, I'm not saying that's not actually a thing in the movie. That's an example. But it's basically... She's just like, just like doing that, just like, there's that one kid that like, that one just like, did like, yeah, don't nobody hang out with Tono. You mean Tony? No, just his parents called him Tono. It's weird. But yeah, he's lives down by the tracks, and there's just like a lot of dogs and cats go missing around that part of town. I don't know. Like, that she's kind of like, that's if it's a girl and then it grows up, that's kind of that lady. Oh my gosh. Yes. Verbal affirmations, positivity. Yay. I love you. You're a good boy. You're a good boy. One of the best. Yeah. That's one of, but okay, so going back to the thing the thing that we were talking about. Remember, guys, that thing that we were talking about? Remember that thing that I was talking at you about? It's a we conversation though, right? Right? Slade is like, don't threaten the audience, Dad. Please don't do that. But that's one of the big reasons, and that's like psychologically, that's one of the big reasons why it's so easy to, like, you'll have 99 compliments and then you'll have one bit of just like, nah, you stink. And you just focus on the you stink. You can't help but you like, you're blind to the 99. And it paints your inner dialogue, it paints your inner perspective. It paints like your estimation of self. So yeah, it's good to like know those things. It's good to keep that stuff in check. Important. Because you can run too far, you can focus too much. It's too easy to focus in on that negative and give it more value and give it more weight than it deserves. And I'm not trying to sit there and say just like, hey, don't screw the haters. Don't, because there's sometimes people they need, like, you have to have a healthy balance. You have to be able to like accept like some sort of criticism, some form of like, hey, you know what? I'm not always like, on my A game. I don't always do the best stuff. I'm not saying don't take responsibility for the things, or don't refuse to take constructive criticism. That's not it. Sometimes people need to be told that they suck. Sometimes, like any one of us, there's been times in all of our lives, all of ours, where someone should have told us, and hopefully they did, but someone should have told us like, hey, you kind of suck right now. I love you, but you're a bit of a turd. In this moment, you could be less. We all go through those times, those periods. And now we're living in this kind of really weird age where it's very, very easy, because we're so hyper connected, and just the sheer amount of like information and data that kind of goes out and comes in, it's staggering. But we still interface, like our software up here is still the version that was uploaded into us from the hunter-gatherer days. We are still running basically just like human DOS. Human prompt. Like literal floppy disks The big ones, not like the little ones. The ones that were actually floppy. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. You almost 40-year-olds and above. So, yeah. So that's like a really, that's such a huge, and it's hard. It's hard to navigate that because we live in this social media age. And even within like a relative, like you could have like a good number of people that you know that you've met in your lifetime on just like Facebook. I have like, you know, maybe a few hundred people, and I like the people that I choose to like have like on my personal Facebook page are people that I just literally like, I know I've actually met, I've like shaken their hand, and I've interacted with them in some way, shape, or form. They're members of my family, or they're colleagues that I work with, or they're just like people I've gone to school with. There's all just whatever. And then over time that adds up to a few hundred people. Most of them being just kind of loose associations, but it basically like onto like, hey, I remember that guy. Oh, like, oh yeah, her, yeah, she was nice, like that sort of thing. Even within that community, that still is like a little bit more like swollen. That's bigger than kind of like what we're kind of able to like handle if we had to like really integrate and interact with that community on a day-to-day basis. I'm just saying in those kind of terms. So let's say that you do make some sort of post, like just to that community. Let's say that you have like 500 Facebook friends, which a lot of people do. That's not an uncommon and unachievable, untenable number. Like plenty of people have loose association, like, hey, there's that guy that I remember meeting, etc. And then you start like, you know, you start doing something. I'm gonna learn how to play the mouth harp. I'm gonna be the best. You know that thing? It's like that. It's that old, like a gut bucket kind of band. You know, like a wash pan kind of with like the thing. And then there'd be the one guy, and it's the and they'd like. I actually have one. I may still have one somewhere. An actual mouth harp. I think my mom got it for me for like Christmas one year. She always would. She like, and I wasn't, because she knew me. She knew my wavelength. She knew like the type of kid. She knew what she cooked. She's like, I know the baby I made, and I know what he's like, and I know what he likes. And this is the type of stuff that I know. Because like when I got it, and she's like, yeah, check it out, and I'm just like. And she's like, I knew you'd like it. I'm like, I love it. I think I still have it somewhere. It's in a box somewhere. But let's say it's just like, you know what? I'm gonna come out as my passion. I've been a closeted mouth harpist my whole life. And let's say that 498 of your good Facebook friends are just like, awesome, thumbs up emoji, fire, clap, clap, like, love it, love you, proud of you. And then, you know, there's like there's two people like, that's not, you know, you're not, yeah, not that good. Kazoo's better. Which ones are you gonna focus on? You're like, oh. I should have never said anything. It's so stupid, serves you right for putting yourself out there. But that, we live in a weird era. We live in a weird age where our access, like the ability for our nervous system and for our cognition to kind of get artificially hijacked towards that negative confirmation thing is wildly more And that's like, that's actually a big part. It's not just a bug, that's a feature of a lot of social media experience. That's not a bug, that's a feature of a lot of just media experience. Hi. That's like that thing where it's like social media posts or news articles and everything that make you, that rally you up, or that make you feel afraid, that make you feel threatened, that make you feel cranky, angry, or just like, oh, those people, whatever the people are. That's why those things sell, because like we're hardwired. We're hardwired to be in a small unit, a small tribe, and then just be like, Dave's acting weird. Dave, you can't hang around the kids anymore. And if honestly, Dave, let's take a hike. Yeah, grab your rocks. You gotta go. Go. Sorry, no. I don't care if a pterodactyl eats you. Okay? We've warned you about this before. We tried giving you feedback before. You gotta go. And I'm just basing that off of like Flintstones logic. I'm not basing that off of actual. You know that pterodactyls and people live together, right? Oh no, Derek, you're not one of those guys, are you? No. I loved the Flintstones when I was a child, when I was a boy. I did. It was great. It's a good show. All right. All right, I'm going to end it with this little girl, who I thought was going to come up and snuffle. I guess not. Hey. 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 Mika. To you too. All right. Thanks for watching this episode of the Walk Around the Compound webcast. Hashtag Dorbus Award in the comment section below. Like and subscribe for all of your big cat goodness. And if you want to learn more about the facility around me, you can always visit the website carerescuetexas.com for more information. You keep them tigers fed. Big shout out to the extra fancy patrons. I see you. You are so fancy, and thank you so much for your continued support. And we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Walk around the compound, stay 6 feet. Walk around the compound, walk around the compound, stay